It's not in that article. I wanted to read for you some of the books that they are now going to bring in this year. Now, this week, a whistleblower came forward in the Free Press and exposed how Washington University Transgender Center at St. Louis Children's Hospital engages in experimental interventions from your cult children. Gender affirming care is the new word. This whistleblower works at that center. And this whistleblower said that they are permanently harming the vulnerable patients in their care. But let's talk about this whistleblower. The name is Jamie Reed. She says that they are giving young girls testosterone with gruesome side effects. Mentally ill individuals were chemically castrated, meaning no desire for natural affection. Parents were kept out of the loop, and people that permanently altered their bodies as children. It's too late for these children. Now, this whistleblower is a queer woman. She is married to a trans man, the whistleblower. She says she's to the left of Bernie Sanders. So she has no reason to lie. She's going against her own community to tell parents that they must push back on what's happening there. She said it all begins in school. Let me give you an example. This year, in the public school systems of America, you can find this book, Mother and Father. It's called It Feels So Good to Be Yourself. It's for ages 4 to 8. It feels so good to be yourself. It encourages your children, your grandbabies that are part of a cult, to question their sex at any age. One example in that book is someone named Ruthie, a biological boy who tells his parents that the doctors got it wrong and he's now a girl. Ruthie is 5 years old. If you're watching me right now, look at one of the pictures of your grandbabies or one of your children around that age reading a book to question their sexual identity. There's another book that's in your libraries now called Beyond Magenta. I hate to say it, but I'm so cultic, I'm about to keep my children out of public libraries. Call me a cult. I've chosen my cult. It's called Beyond Magenta. Transgender teens speak out. School boards are changing their their bathroom policies to allow everyone in. And now Abigail Shrier's book, Irreversible Damage, has been pulled off the shelves of Target because she dared to suggest that a social contagion is at play. She wrote with studies that this is a social contagion. It's a disease that's spreading. It's not because people are physically, sexually dysphoric. It is something that is being suggested in the social conscious. They pulled her book off the shelves. And now schools are required not to even tell the parents if the child appears as a different sex while at school. This is all under Joe Biden's Department of Health and Human Services. And if you speak out, you're going to face repercussions. You see, you don't leave a cult without repercussions. You have refused to join their cult. And if you speak out like I'm doing right now, there will be repercussions. These activists on that side, they don't play by the rules. They will cancel you. They will destroy you for daring to question the mutilation of our children. I chose my cult. I don't know about you. I'm planting my feet in my cult. People must begin to stand up to stop this unethical, dangerous, and anti-science war on the physical destruction against our children. I'm to the point where I believe the most important elections in America is not the White House, but the schoolhouse. I plead with you watching me right now. I plead with you. Run for the school board. Run for the school board. It doesn't take a lot of money. You can do it. Make up your mind now. I'm going to run for the school board. There's no other way to save our children. America is falling. Donald Trump was the man to put this train back on the track. I believe these trains falling off the track is a prophetic foreshadowing. It is a prophecy of where America is headed. Off the tracks. Destruction. This is why God raised up Donald Trump one time. He's going to raise him up one more time. This is our last moment to save our society. And when I say our society, I'm talking about your babies. I want to say this tonight. America is falling. And don't even tell me they're falling because of the cabal or the white caps. Oh, wait, which is the bad ones? I don't keep up with all that stuff, people. The black caps, red caps, white. I don't know. What cap am I? I don't even know. But anyway, we want to blame the fall of America on these secret, sinister red caps or whoever they are. I've never watched Q one day in my life. I have no idea what I'm even talking about. What cap color am I? But that's because it's the same reason we like to blame our own flesh on demon activity. Why do you think everybody wants to go get delivered from demons? Because they don't want to get delivered from themselves and their own choices. So we blame it on demons. We teach our children to blame it on mental illnesses. Why don't you blame it on yourself? Take responsibility. Victimhood has never helped anybody. America is only a victim today because the victors have accepted that they're in a cult. They've gone quiet and they've been good little boys and girls. America's not falling because of the elite or the cabals or George Soros. Do you think these are new entities? Do you think the Rockefellers is our problem? Thank you, Deb, for letting me know the black hats are the bad guys. Thank you. Do you really think the Rockefellers are our problem? Really? The same demon powers that controlled George Soros was controlling Pharaoh 4,000 years ago, 6,000 almost. The same demon that's controlling Vanguard and BlackRock. See, we love to find where to put the blame that America is falling. Do you not think these same spiritual forces have not been operating for thousands of years, for 300 years in America? That all of a sudden, the cabal, the Masons, let's say who else we blame it on? The Georgia Guidestones, we got to find the devil somewhere. I'm going to find the devil for you tonight. I'm going to lead you right to the devil's house. That devil of laziness. And he's probably living in your house. I said it. I don't need followers. I need warriors. So if what I just said makes you upset, you remember this. The only thing that has changed in America is not those that are attacking America, but it's those that are no longer defending America. They've gone to sleep. They've come to believe they're part of a cult. They're afraid to even put a Trump sign in their yard anymore. You're the problem, not some devil. Turn me off if you want to. America, the only thing that's changed is we put up with it now. That's right. We quit fighting for our kids because we're afraid to offend anybody. These same spirits that control them now has always been here. Thank you, Vini. Always been here. When what are y'all going to do when Soros dies? What are we going to do? I mean, my God, he looks like Senator Palpatine already. When he dies, who's the new boogeyman then? Oh, it's them. They're the ones that doing it. I say the problem is a lot closer to home than you realize. Sure, all those people are involved. I get it. I know that. I understand there's an agenda against us. But the problem is there's always been an agenda against us. But there was always a wall to stop that agenda. And it was the obedient saints of God that stood up for this nation and stood up for the American way. Those people have begun to go to sleep, so much so they're even tired of fighting for Donald Trump and they're looking for other people now. We are falling not because of devils. We are falling because believers have fallen asleep. The problem in America is the quality of our salt. I want you to hear me. In the Word of God, it says, if the salt has lost its savor, then wherewith will it be salted? What does that mean, Professor Toto? It's very simple. A little salt goes a long way in doing its job. America, our problem is not that we're getting more enemies. It's that we're getting less salt. I want to explain it like this. The quality of our salt has diminished as we have allowed ourselves to be driven and shamed into silence. Because we refuse to accept their lies as truth. So out of shame and intimidation, and our desire not to be labeled a cult, Our desire not to be labeled. What do? Instead of getting louder, what do? We go quieter. We do like the Apostle Peter did after Yeshua was crucified. And they said, aren't you one of those that followed him? He said, I don't even know him. That same Peter spirit has arisen among our patriots. You have allowed yourselves to allow their intimidation to get in your ears, and you are even starting to believe that it's hopeless and it's helpless. Not all of you. Please hear what I'm saying. But I'm calling out to you tonight to tell you, don't let them shame you into silence. Let them shame you into strength, stronger than you've ever been before. Quit losing your voice. We are losing America because we are losing our voice, our courage, and our ability to be offensive. Listen to me. Truth always offends lies. The only way you can be non-offensive is to join their cult. That's the only way. Or either wear a muzzle over your mouth. And they have brought many of you to that point where you're scared to even say who you're voting for. I'm calling you tonight, everywhere across this nation, don't let the salt lose its savor. Do you know why the ocean is so salty? Because salt, when we think of salt, we think of putting a little salt on our food so it will taste better. That's not the purpose of salt. That's one of the benefits of salt. The purpose of salt is preservation or conservation or conservative. Can I go through that again? Salt is for preservation or conservation. Thus the word conservative. The conservatives are to preserve the Constitution, the American way of life, capitalism, the republic. We must preserve it, because if the salt loses its preservation, then how will it be preserved? If the salt's lost its savor, then wherewith will it be salted? In other words, the minute you get more water than you get salt, bacteria begins to set in. In the old days, that's how they preserved their beef, their meat. There is water in that beef that creates bacteria, that brings death. But if you'll salt it down, it draws the water out. It draws the bacteria that's eating away at the meat. It draws it all out and preserves the meat without that communism infecting it, without socialism getting inside the cells of it. You and I are the salt of America.